In a world of shadows, where the lines are blurred, we're standing on the truth of God's holy word. The battle is raging, the energy is high, in the fight between the light and the father of lies. From the armor of God to the sword in our hand, the Proverbs guys are taking a stand. Through every season, through the fire and every test, our faithfulness remains. We're giving him our best. Stephen the founder is all about truth, cutting through tradition since the days of his youth. He points to the scripture, the word of the king. It is written, he cries, let the gospel ring. We're the killers watching the stars in the night. Astronomy and end times brought into the light. The mics are hot, the air is clear. President Dan is finally here with designer talk, showing how God made it all. He's uniquely created every creature, great and the small. We're the Proverbs team, and we're holding the line. Defenders of the faith and intelligent design. Starting in Genesis, we take it all in a row. The foundation of truth is deep and umbilical. Standing united on Christ crucified. The gospel message for which he died. From the first of the pages to the end of the stage, the gospel message for every age. It's spiritual warfare, we're breaking the chains. The kingdom is coming, the Savior remains. No accidents here, it was all by design. We'll live with the Proverbs. It's time to let our light shine. The armor is on, the vision is clear. We're standing our ground, we've got nothing to fear. We are ready, let's go live. Welcome to the Proverbs, guys. We're the Proverbs team, the Proverbs guys. Welcome to the Proverbs guys. Yeah.
And welcome to Proverbs Guys Ministries. We are your hosts, Stephen and Achilles. And tonight's episode is on the topic of evolution. And we're not talking about evolution merely as a scientific claim, we're talking about it as a worldview. You see, in our view, evolution has become one of the most dumbest and dangerous religions in the history of human thought. Now, we believe it helped push mankind away from the idea that we were created with a purpose and toward the belief that humanity is nothing more than a product of time, chance, death, and random processes. We believe it laid the philosophical groundwork for materialism, atheism, moral revelation, and many other destructive ideologies that have shaped modern history. Because once you teach people that they're accidents, don't be surprised when they begin living like accidents. When you teach children that they're nothing more than advanced animals in a giant biological machine, don't be shocked when society begins reflecting that worldview. Violence will rise, meaning disappears, identity collapses, and purpose fades. And humanity forgets that it was created in the image of God. We reject the idea that children are cosmic mistakes. We reject the idea that mankind is a happy accident. And we reject the idea that life came from blind chance and purposeless process. We believe humanity was designed, we believe humanity was created, and we believe humanity has value, purpose, and meaning. And that's why here at Proverbs, guys, we firmly stand against it, and we see it as a flawed theory that is evolution. Tonight, we're asking difficult questions. Did evolution elevate mankind, or did it convince mankind to forget who it is? And Brother Achilles, I'm sure as always, I forgot something. What was it this time?
You're getting better and better, dude. I think we can just end the show. I mean, that was an intro to outro. Like all of it. You didn't leave room forever.
Yeah, in short, guys, evolution sucks, and come back next week.
Yeah. See ya.
In reality, that would break Claude's heart, and we just can't have that.
Yeah, he's a big fan of us. We can just, he's been waiting here for 5 whole minutes that we delayed to begin, so we can't leave that quick. And
Well,
here he gives us some food. Thank you, Claude. So Claude's first claim is that evolution isn't a guess or an idea, it is a scientific theory. Okay. Uh, why do you have to lie about everything that proves it then?
Claude,
That's our issue. Because you continue and you say that we only reject evolution based on our holy book. No, we reject it because it is made up of a lot of lies.
one
Go ahead.
mistake. You said that it's made up of a lot of lies, and
Only
I
lies.
think what you were trying to say is only lies.
Yeah,
Correct.
only lies. Like wherever you choose to focus, it's a lie. So why? I mean, I enjoy theories. I enjoy assumptions that then find evidence and then become theories, and then theories can be proven. But that's not the case with evolution. It has
Hmm.
never been proven in the past. No part of it has been proven in the past. We haven't created life. Even if we ever did, it would prove it requires a designer. We haven't seen any animal changing into anything else or um, evolving further than adaptation. Never. Yet you want to put this in the science spectrum, although it has never been observed, and everything that proves it is a proven lie. So yes, we will attack that. And since you bring our holy book, it does warn us about science, so-called, about denying the creator and the father of lies being the ruler of this world. So, yeah, our holy book just proves what we see.
Now, earlier, while you were on Missing Mod's show, which was a really good show, by the way,
Yeah,
the
good
claim
job,
was
man.
the claim was made by Big Bad Mama that it's not turned into Lucian, which I also reject that notion because even if you believe that we started off as a single cell organism and eventually landed on mankind, that is turning into something that it was not. So it is still turned into Lucian.
His claim was that the illustration of the tree that Ken Hovind uses is basic, and that's why he shouldn't be doing that. And I said, okay, what if he had a more scientific one? What is the difference? Isn't there a common ancestor? And he's like, yeah, but there's more nuance. Okay, but it's still the same. I
I
mean,
I do have to give Big Bad Mama credit though. It's possibly the closest I've ever heard an evolutionist come to admitting that they feed lies to our children. So he's moving in the right direction.
and it is all over the internet. The most elaborate version of this chart exists on the internet, and it's just like a spiral that has all the animals on it. Okay, so what's the difference? If you follow the spiral back, it still goes back to common ancestry. So, I mean, at least if it was true, you would have had a real argument about it. That's not even an argument. If I'm simplifying something for it to be understood, that doesn't mean I need it to be simplified to attack it. Just doing it so people can understand. I'm going to show you this.
Oh, we've already got a presentation. We are moving in the right direction.
And all I just did was type on, I don't know if people know that yet, but I'm going to share the secret. It's called Google.
No.
It's, yeah, yeah. And it's out there. So if you just type like evolutionary tree on Google, this is what you get.
Now, this was made by some dumb creationist, right, Achilles?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Who were biased and they're strawmanning the whole thing, you know.
Sure, of
Okay.
course. It has to be.
It has to be. So I just clicked on the most elaborate one that you see here, but it's taking me to cookies. I said, okay, set save preferences, return to previous page. Okay, here it is. So I'll open the image on a new tab and now share this tab. So this one is the most elaborate one that we've arrived to, but it's not high quality, unfortunately. It comes from Natural History Museum. I bet they're creationists there, right?
Good possibility, Achilles. Wink, wink.
So for those that might see this to be complicated, it's not. Like, follow it clockwise and we go back to common ancestry. All right, it just, instead of it being like a child textbooks tree, it just showed this a little more. Oh, here's where the distinction happened, and this is where the other fork happened, and that's why all those things on the left side come from the same ancestor with every other thing on the right side, which is bull. It's a lie. I have nothing common. I don't know though. I know people that have something common with strawberries. They have the same brain.
It's not really fair to strawberries, though, is it?
No, I don't think it is. So let's go back to being simple about this.
Oh, ah.
Now, maybe this is too complicated for some evolutionists out there, but this is what you're teaching children. That if you go back in time, way back in time, all these are connected to, they had a common ancestor called vertebrae. Was it French? No.
That's a good question, Achilles. You know, the answer I have never received from an evolutionist is all of these adaptations and changes they claim happen due to variables in the environment. But if our common ancestor, they claim, started off in the same exact environment, what were the variables that caused half of us to shift and the other half to branch off in a different direction, I wonder? And I don't think they'll ever be able to explain it because it's garbage.
I think the reason for that is the element of free will and choice. I mean, some bacteria just decided to remain bacteria forever.
Mm.
They didn't want to be anything better than that. They were like, I'm cool here. I'm fine with this.
You know, maybe the variables in the environment at that time were racist, Achilles. And they were like, hey, you guys can progress, but not you guys. You guys have to stay in the back of evolution.
So you can then evolve into a virus that will eat the rest. You know?
You know what they also don't ever explain? The claim is that we come out of the ocean and then we go back in the ocean and then we come out of the ocean again and develop lungs and go back in the ocean. Why? Is evolution bipolar?
Can't make up its mind. I mean, I'm out. I'm out.
Like they say, oh, okay, they left the ocean because there were predators in there they were afraid of. So what? Were those predators gone when they decided to go back in? Like, I don't understand, because
Now
if I
they're
was
bigger. Now they're bigger. They got out so they can get bigger and badder and then come back in and kick their ass.
Oh, okay, is that what it is?
Yep. Yep.
I was just under the assumption that it was a made up theory, but yours makes sense too.
And I mean, I love that theory so much because it's such a joke. You can have so many jokes about it, dude. I mean, what else gives you so many jokes like the theory of evolution?
It has been a staple around here for a long time, and it was good that we took a little bit of a break, but I gotta be honest, I'm really happy to get back to kicking Darwin.
So from like how they have this imagination that if you give it a long time, uh, hooves can turn into flippers because the cow went back into the sea and became a whale. And because they told them like that happened in a million years, they don't sit down to think what happened next year and next year and next year in those like 1 million years. Like, how can you get uh, a change that happens in steps and that organism not dying? Like, imagine the cow turning into a whale slowly, though. I like, and that's why I love the man they hate so much, Kent Hovind, because he makes so many jokes about stuff like that, dude. It's why we love him. And by the way, Claude, I will agree with you on some things. I don't like some things some people do, or I don't agree with their doctrines. That doesn't mean they haven't completely destroyed your house of card religion.
Yeah.
It's a house of cards. It's what it is. Just blowing it.
You know, another thing that's kind of funny, Achilles, you know how they say that we don't understand evolution, that it's not
Mm,
turn
mm.
into Lucian. But what is the most famous depiction for evolution? Is it not an ape like figure ascending to manhood?
Yeah, it is turned into illusion with an asterisk.
I
And
don't
they are
understand why they're too dumb to realize that,
willfully ignorant, is what they are.
which in the Greek means dumb on purpose.
And we know why. We understand why. So we're not doing this we're not attacking evolution for those that are so willfully ignorant that whatever you throw at them, they will find the next best excuse. No, we're doing it for those that were like us and we hadn't given it much thought. And if somebody triggers that, you will give it some thought. That this thing is fantasy. It should be in a kid's book, yes, but in the fantasy field or sector. Yeah. What do you call that in the library?
Science fiction.
Right. But no science fiction. Then we go into the Big Bang story. We'll leave that out. I mean, when you go to a library and you're like, where is the philosophy section or sector?
Section. Yeah.
Yeah, section. So it should be in the fantasy section. It should be. We should teach it to children.
Don't put it in the fantasy section.
Yeah, but instead of saying millions and millions years ago, we should say long ago and far away. And then, yes, I have no problem teaching it to children.
Now, there's this thing that they do in American baseball, Achilles. Babe Ruth, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, used to do it. And when you get up to the plate and it's your turn to hit, you lift your bat up and you point in the direction that you're about to hit your home run. And it's called calling your shot. You're letting them know you're being cocky and that you're calling your shot. You're about to hit a home run on them. We're going to call our shot here tonight. There is not a single evolutionist out there who can come on here and defend this false religion live without any preparation. We challenge you. Not a single one of you guys can come defend your religion and win. I promise I'm calling the shot right now. You come on here defending that dumb religion, and we will knock it out of the park. I challenge you. Go get your friends, friends, tell them all to come gang up on us. All we need is Achilles and I, and we can do it with our hands behind our back.
And if you do have evidence for evolution, why don't you want to be rich? So I don't know if you saw that last time we did a show, Stephen. I think you had left at that time. Richard, our member here, Theories of Creation, he has a presentation with a lot of slides, like stuff that he finds. He just adds them in the presentation, so he knows where to find them. So there is this website that has challenges, and if you solve a challenge, they have a reward. Like they have, mathematical problems that nobody can solve. So if you manage to solve it, you have a reward. It's very funny that website offers $1 million for evidence for evolution, and nobody has claimed the reward. So I think that's very telling.
That's interesting, isn't it?
If there was evidence, I would just pick up the textbook, find the evidence, rush to become a millionaire. But nobody has claimed it yet. All those scientists out there, nobody wants $1 million. The challenge is open. It's right there. And it's not a theocratic channel. It's not a religious channel. It's just a website about challenges. And it offers $1 million for evidence for that tree that we see right here on the screen. Nobody has claimed it.
Well, they can't. I know and you know, but they don't know for some odd reason that for it to be considered science, it must be testable, demonstratable, and repeatable. Evolution is none of those things. And we'll bypass for just a moment the fact that they want to completely skip over abiogenesis because they cannot explain the origins, right? And it reminds me of that joke that Doc likes to tell where the atheist tells God, I can create some sort of life without you. I don't need anything from you. And God says, okay, show me. So he gets the dirt and he gets the plan and God says, get your own dirt. And that's where the evolutionists are. They cannot explain abiogenesis. It's going to bring them back to the Big Bang, and they cannot explain cosmology or cosmic evolution. So they want to jump right into this made up bullcrap family tree that makes all of your relatives look hungry and ugly.
And then they keep changing every time they hit a wall. They keep changing the narrative. They either add a couple 100 million years, so somehow it then makes sense, or they will say, it used to be Big Bang. That's why we know it as Big Bang, but not anymore, because a lot of people have addressed the issues with the Big Bang. Now they call it the big expanse. So it like expanded. And pretty soon they will arrive to the truth, which is that it's called the expanse because the Bible calls it the expanse, the firmament. God stretched out the heavens, but they're not there yet. So they keep pushing the goalpost, and at some point the goalpost is going to make it to the other goalpost of the other team, and we're going to win. So
it's a sad theory for sad people. And it's no coincidence that you'll rarely meet a Christian who understands purpose and design who buys into this garbage theory, because most Christians are operating under the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will not let you fall victim to a lie of this degree.
Plus, it is what's blinding people. That's why it's a very dangerous theory. It blinds people from the fact that they have a creator, and there is no way around it. I've heard somewhere, and I love that argument, that says even the fact that oh man, I forgot it. Even the fact that, come on, man, I had it, like when I started saying it, I had it. It will come back to me, but it is like a veil of don't worry about it. Like scientists, they figured this out, and you don't want to go against science. So a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I haven't looked into it, so I guess they wouldn't be lying to me. So but I still believe in a God. So how does that fit in? And they get lost, and they just stop thinking about it, and they go about their lives unaware that they might die tomorrow, and they will have God's gonna laugh at them and say, you really thought you came from an ape? Like when I told you I made you in my image, are you calling me an ape?
Do you remember the chart that I had last week? It was our thumbnail of the T-Rex slowly evolving into the bucket of chicken.
I loved it. Yeah.
My son saw that, and he asked me what it was. And I told him, this is the theory of evolution. Dinosaurs turning into chicken. And my 6-year-old told me that was dumb, and he began to laugh. My 6-year-old knows more about science than Claude Balls in the comment section. And I'm not going to say that's sad, because I'm a very proud daddy. But it does make me happy that Christians are pulling their children out of public school in droves so that they can get them away from this demonic theory and teach them actual science.
So, do you like that tree?
Oh, that is a much harder tree to disprove, Achilles.
So you see, bacteria just chose they wanted to be bacteria. Like that's why they didn't follow the rest. So does that answer your question, Stephen?
Yeah, I'll take that. Hey, Matthew.
You know what? Okay,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
If we do come from bacteria, like we had common ancestry with bacteria, If you, now that we have actual scientific instruments that we didn't have in the times of Darwin, now we know how complicated one bacterium is. And it has like bearings. You know that? It has actual bearings, natural bearings. And it
Almost
has
like
a
a design.
yeah, and it has a tail that spins like 100,000 revolutions per minute, and it can swim in a speed that it would be like a human swimming in peanut butter uh, with 60 miles per hour. So why did we lose that ability? Why didn't we keep it? It's pretty handy. If we evolved from that, why didn't we keep that and have that tail and keep swimming that way? But no, we were like, no, I don't want to be a swimmer. I'll just grow fingers and legs and make it to the moon.
Yeah, and we've covered this point before on previous episodes, Achilles, but it makes one wonder. You know how we came out of the ocean? How did we breathe with gills on dry land? Or when we went back into the ocean, how did we breathe without gills and air absorbing lungs? Kind of makes one think that scientifically you would drown, right?
Yeah, but those would be the theists that would think that.
Those dumb theists, man. Oh,
Which reminds me, we're gonna have a next show after this, which we will try to bring about every movie that we can think of that tried to get into um, indoctrinating people. And when I mean tried, I mean it didn't succeed with us. It did succeed with a lot of people. Unfortunately, that's why it needs to be exposed. But one movie that came to my mind right now was Waterworld, I think was its name, with Kevin Costner.
yep, Waterworld. Good movie.
Remember, he had evolved gills,
Well, yeah, he swam like a lot, Achilles.
and it didn't happen in generations, right? It just happened with him. It was a quick evolution in that case.
It's too bad that, unlike the theory of evolution, um, where if one were to develop such a mutation, you would need to find a member of the opposite sex that had the exact same mutation. Otherwise, the mutation would be bred out, right? But this is another thing that evolutionists don't ever consider. And Matthew made a comment. He said, "You don't need to be proven wrong. There's no debate." Well, I would disagree because here we are publicly debating it. So awkward. And he also says, "Your God doesn't exist." Well, Matthew, sir, I encourage you to go tap on the shoulder 5 of your smartest evolutionary believing friends, and you bring them on the show tonight, and we will school each and every one of you, and you will leave here crying. Guaranteed.
Um, you can't prove that God doesn't exist, Mr. Matthew. What you will do is that you're going to use some fake evidence from the fake anti-God theory, which is we all got here by chance, and call that a proof. And by the time we disprove it to you, you will find you're going to have a power failure, I guess, and you will drop out. But even the fact that you can disprove a God shows there is a possibility that he might exist. So bring us the evidence that he doesn't exist. The link is right there.
Yeah, and we want to be very clear here. We are not saying in any way that God could not have used evolution to create the world. What we're saying is that our God is not that stupid. Because
Right.
again, you would have died coming onto dry land, and you would have drowned going back into the water.
And he would be also, if God used evolution, he would be a very cruel God, because a lot of species would have to die along the way until perfection, and it would be like, yeah, I'm sorry, but you're not there yet. So that's not our God. Our God speaks and things happen. That's who our God is.
Mm,
Everything obeys his voice, and he
mm.
makes things perfect. He doesn't, with one exception. Women say that he created man first, because you always make something that's imperfect before you make, the perfect version of it. So
Yeah, not to mention how many times, even in recent history, science has been wrong. Like with what they call the junk DNA, the stuff they say was useless and pointless, and we kind of like evolved out of needing it. And then, but wait, there's more. They go back and reevaluate and find out that junk DNA is not junk after all. It's actually very usable and very important. And this happens all the time. And I'm sure their answer to the problem was to add another million years.
yeah, and they tried removing the junk DNA from rats, and when they removed it, the rats created like immediate cancer and died. So
I bet the variables in the environment were wrong, Achilles. Or maybe they
um,
needed more time.
I mean, seriously, there is no single subject about the whole narrative that they've built that you can't find evidence that it's a lie. Nothing.
Hmm. I mean, my 6-year-old can call it out immediately, but I guess most evolutionists are not as intelligent as my 6-year-old.
Now, get in here, Hayden Walton. Show us why we're stupid. More stupid than what you thought, actually. Come on.
Yeah, because Hayden, we said before, and I'll just reiterate it for you. We encourage you, nay, implore you to go tap 5 of your smartest evolutionist friends on the shoulder and tell them to come gang up on us. We'll keep it just Achilles and I. You bring your smartest, biggest, baddest friends, and we will continually spank all of you guys tonight publicly for the viewers. We're that confident that your religion is that stupid.
Or you can just admit it's a religion, and we will agree to have different religions. We will not have an issue with it at all. If you admit that this is what I wanted to believe, and just like you and your God guys, I don't have evidence, so I believe in it, we will have no issue with you. It's our religion versus yours.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just don't call it science, because you're fabricating everything about it. Every single thing is fabricated.
Yeah. And I'll just give you a heads up. There's a story in the scriptures about one prophet challenging 400 priests of Baal. It didn't go good for the 400 priests of Baal, and it will not go good for you here tonight. I promise you, you'll leave here looking very silly. And that's what we love to do. We love to show you guys how silly your false religion is.
And from our perspective, we're trying to get you to realize a more beautiful reality, that you do have a creator, and he's a very loving creator, and he loves you as you are. He just doesn't like you believing that you came from bacteria, because it's just dumb. And he even died for you before he knew you. So from our perspective, we're trying to show you that you have been designed the way you are. From your perspective, you might try to convince us that we're an accident. We actually agree there too. We believe we are accidents. Surprise. Yeah, we believe we're accidents. But we are accidents that are waiting to happen.
Mm.
So in the case of Stephen and myself, it has happened, and now it's too late. You can't pull us back. You can stay in the chat and call us stupid, but you could also come in here and provide some evidence why we're stupid, what it is that we don't understand.
Achilles, let me get your opinion. I think I may have gone a little too hard. So Hayden Walton said I don't directly interact with morons, to which I replied, what'd you do? Take all your mirrors off the wall? And I think he rage quit because he didn't have a snappy comeback for that. Was that too much?
You might have, like, you know, we don't kill the dragon immediately. We play with it a little bit, just, you know, for fun.
Okay, you're right. Hey, evolution could be true. You guys should come convince us.
Right. I'm real close to believing in it. All I need is like one good evidence. That's what I need.
Yeah. Now, what would you accept as evidence? Like, what if I was to show you a religious text that's taught in public schools that show different creations all connected with lines? Would that be evidence enough?
That would definitely convince me.
Mm.
Like something that we have here. Look at this. Oh. You see, we are at the top. Notice that we're like at the top, so we're the best. But if you look at the other top, which is grasses, it also has bananas there.
I mean, who doesn't like bananas?
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
I mean, honestly,
they will say, we don't say that we're related to bananas. Here it is, dude. You are. Like if I and Steven have a common ancestor, we are related.
Yeah, and they point to similarities, but similarities does not prove relationship. For instance, I am as dumb as a rock, but I am not related to a rock.
I have a bike, you have a car. Your car has 4 wheels. My bike has 2 wheels. So your car has evolved from my bike. Or not mine, I mean, you know, from bikes. And there is the intermediate, which was the 3-wheelers. Nobody liked those.
Oh, the trike.
Yeah, that's why they stopped evolving. They disappeared.
I can't believe they have us in the same family tree as chimpanzees, whales, and cows. And does that make us cannibals? Because I love cow.
And by the way, this is a lie upon the lie. Like, actually, the theory of evolution says that cows went back into the ocean and became whales. It took a little time.
Of course.
To change the hoof into a flipper. It took a little time. But yeah, this chart here shows them like starting becoming separate. That's not the case. That's not the official narrative. So, but if you follow it down, you'll see that we're also related to jellyfish, sponges, starfish. At least we're far from crocodiles. Not that far. I mean, I'm related to everything. I found a new, like it was on the news recently, a NASA scientist that said, a Greek NASA scientist. So this is what they do. If he's Greek, Greeks are gonna love what he said, like whatever he said. Hey, he's a Greek scientist for NASA, which means that although he's Greek, he's better than you Greeks that are not scientists at NASA, you know? And he said, oh, these are the hooves that turned into flippers?
Yeah, these are fairy fingers or fairy slippers. They have different names, but what they are is it's soft cartilage that grows over the hoof inside the mother's womb so that it doesn't pierce the cow and kill the
Yep.
mom.
Yep.
I want to know, one, how did this evolve? Two, how many mothers died in the process of waiting for this to evolve? And three,
And
what was the variable in the environment that caused the calf to grow these fairy fingers?
so the variable in the environment is that a lot of cows died because they didn't have this.
Mm.
Okay. The question is, if those cows died because their child didn't have that, how did they have also a child that later on evolved into one that had this if they died?
Mm.
Duh.
Terrific point. Very valid point.
It's dumb, dude. It's just so dumb.
And this is just one of like a billion reasons why the stupid religion of evolution cannot work. They don't have explanations for any of these examples that we show. Not one.
And that's why I think that what Ken Hovind says a lot is that, and I agree with him so much, is that the theory is so dumb that God's gonna laugh at people. Like some people are going to hell because they're stupid and they believe that with all the evidence disproving it, and that's sad. That's very, very sad, man. That people have degenerated to that level that they don't see how obvious, what an obvious lie this is, and it becomes a joke.
Mm. I mean, I can kind of relate, right? Because I'm a Southerner. I was born and raised in the South. And we have this kind of pseudo historical version of the American Civil War, right? And what it is some of us are taught when we're growing up that the Civil War had absolutely nothing to do with slavery. We convince ourselves that it was only states' rights and slavery was totally unrelated. And as a Southerner, when I was younger in my early teens, I have defended that position with all my heart, knowing that it was kind of stupid. And I think that the evolutionists fall into the same scheme. You know how stupid it is, you know in your heart that it's wrong, but then you will die on a hill defending it because it's your tradition.
For any viewer that is hearing this for the first time and they're not sure where to go next, because we don't always do shows on evolution, um, you definitely need to check out Ken Hovind's seminars. You can start there. Um, they're out there, they're on YouTube. If you want to support him, get them from his website. They're gonna come on a DVD and a better quality than YouTube. But if you want to go super fast, just find them on YouTube. And the arguments against evolution are so many. It has to do with its history, the lies in the textbooks, the reason for it, how it contradicts the Bible, like it's the Bible upside down on everything. So many things that because me and Steven know them, we can't be going back and forth on everything. Like, if you really want to get into it, start there. And you'll understand why they hate Ken Hovind so much and they care about how many times he's getting married. Because they have to attack him some way, one way or the other. They have to discredit the messenger. It's called an ad hominem attack. What
Right.
about your degree? You know?
I mean, I don't blame the strategy, right? Like, if I was up against a wall where I had to try to defend evolution, I would want to point to Kent Hovind's marriages as well. Because that you could make an argument for, but defending evolution, you're argumentless. There's nowhere to go that makes sense.
So yeah, you have to, like a cat cornered, you know.
It's kind of weird that Claude left. He was so passionate and zealous in the comment section earlier, and as soon as we repeatedly challenged him and sent the invite link, he just kind of disappeared. Kind of weird.
I don't think he left. The cloud is always there. It's like a spirit. He just knows better than to argue with you and I. So he's like lurking in the distance. How's the poll doing? Let me check it out. Oh, did you remove it?
No, the poll's there.
Probably I've pressed dismiss. I can't see it anymore.
Let me see.
So this is full. He had a full T-Rex, so he's full. Good to hear that, DC. I love my T-Rex. Actually, on the next show that we have on Hollywood, another film we're gonna focus on is Jurassic Park. And this is going to be a challenge for every anti-evolutionist out there. You too, DC. I want you to remember which film you recall that had evolution propaganda in it. We already brought up Waterworld. We're going to show stuff. We're not going to just mention them. Jurassic Park is a big one, right? It's a huge one. It has a great soundtrack, but other than that, it's full of lies.
But that soundtrack is the wedding march my wife used at our wedding.
Yeah, I know. And evolutionists out there, which one of you got married to the Jurassic Park theme? Like, you can't get it more proficient than Steven on that.
Yeah, I really doubt any man alive out there loves dinosaurs as much as I do. The difference is I realized that dinosaurs were its own separate creation made by God.
And Adam had to walk them. We have a t-shirt on our store on that.
BBM! BBM is here. Come join us, man. We're just having a good time.
Yeah, I was wondering too, how did the poll turn out with BBM and Claude lurking in the background, you know?
Let's see. I'll take a look at the poll right now.
Because I dismissed it.
No, what it did is it made two separate streams. So the poll is still there. And it is, which worldview makes more sense, creationism or evolution? And it's 67% in favor of evolution. So what happened is all of these guys had their friends and their sock accounts come and vote in the poll. So all of you God-fearing Christians, make sure you vote in the poll to cancel out that silliness.
And they're still at 33%. And by the way, 93% of Americans on the most recent poll believe that either God created things as they are or he directed evolution. So like 50-50. But that's still the 90%. Then why is evolution being taught in schools, in public schools? If the majority believes that God made us, why do we have the theory in the textbooks about evolution making us?
Oh, and I can answer that.
Go ahead.
Yes, so the answer, Achilles, is that in order to teach a society that sin is not bad and you're free to live your life however you desire, you have to teach that there is no God and everything came into existence by chance mutations. And they have to start teaching this to children who are very much too young to think for themselves. But thank the Lord, there are kids like mine who will grow up not believing this retarded bullcrap, and they will have a firm seating in actual science. That's the answer.
Okay. Brought another thing to my mind, mutations. They're saying, yeah, that it was all like positive mutations. So first,
that's lucky.
Yeah, we haven't seen any positive mutation today, right? We don't observe it. We only see negative mutations. But if the amount of negative mutations was the same as it is now, you get like a pool of a specific species, which is a tricky term. We should not be using that, but let's say a specific kind of animal. And it gets like you, cancer, you, cancer, you, cancer, you, cancer, you, positive mutation. You, cancer, you, cancer, you. Like, how dumb is that, man? Because 90% of mutation, not 90, 100% of mutations that we see or observe today are negative. But even if it was 99% and there was 1% positive mutation, which is where all their fantasy land is based upon, that 1% would mean that 99 out of those 100 pool of a specific kind would have to have cancer, and one of them no cancer. Then they will say that, oh, well, it is the environment and they adapt to the environment, and those that adapt are the ones that survive, therefore they have children. But those children that have evolved slightly due to a positive mutation, which, as we said already, can't happen. We haven't seen it happening ever. But even if they were, then the other ones shouldn't be having any children, because then the mutation gets lost in the population, like, and one white dot. And if the 10 black dots make 2 children each, and the white dots make 2 children, next generation you have 100 versus 2. And it's, why do they hate math? Why do they go against math? And they call themselves scientists.
But it gets even better than that, Achilles. If you do a search for top beneficial mutations, would you guess that one of the top beneficial mutations listed is a lactase resistance? Sickle cell is number 2. The lactase resistance is the first one most of the time that's listed. And they'll say it's a beneficial mutation that we lose the ability to adapt to the milk after we're weaned. Now, that doesn't sound very beneficial to me because I enjoy a good glass of milk. But if that's the evidence that they have to fall on, I really pity them.
Yeah, that's the best they got. And then single cell, what's it called? Single cell anemia. Because you can't get, what was the disease that you can't get if you have single cell?
So the claim is that those who have the sickle cell trait, it helps fight off malaria. But actually, they've proven that people with one copy often have increased resistance to severe malaria. So that one kind of backfires on them. You know what I mean?
They lost that one too? Oh, man. What are you left with? What are you left with, guys? And if you're left with something, go on that website and get $1 million, because it's out there on the internet. $1 million is offered for evidence of evolution. Charles, if I didn't have my views of where we are in the end times, I wouldn't mind creating a DAL here in Greece. Like, Greeks need that because Orthodoxy is keeping them captive, and they have watered down their religion, and they've added evolution, which is something you can't do, by the way. It is heresy to bring evolution in that 50% of Americans that we mentioned, which let's call it, like, let's go worldwide and say it's a 50% people that think that God directed evolution. It's direct heresy, because you put death before man. And according to the Bible, death is here because of man. There was no death. So just by putting evolution inside the history of mankind, you're a heretic. And that 50% that believes that God directed evolution, they should consider that.
Mm. I posted a link in the private chat, brother. Can you access that for us?
Yes, and Richard is here. I would love him to come in and show us that website again so we can bring it on the screen. That offers $1 million for evidence for evolution. Oh, it's not going to show it to me, Stephen, when it's ChatGPT. The cookie is on your computer. So, yeah, I did. I tried it. It says nothing. What you can do, though, is screenshot that and then open it up in your browser, drag it into the browser, and it will create a new window, and you can share that window.
Okay, so you were unable to open it?
Yeah, because the cookie is on your computer, and the ChatGPT is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let me see
You're not,
if I
you're
can...
not Steven. What are you doing? You know.
Here, now you have the whole list, and we can just kind of go through these and tear them up one at a time, because none of these work out for the evolutionist.
Yeah, but how can I bring that up?
Well, you can't bring it up, but we can read it off. And I can do this.
If you take a screenshot, if you right click there in your browser, it will give you an option, take screenshot. Then you take a screenshot, and then you open that file, you drag it into the tabs, and it will create a new tab with that file, and you can share the tab. 10 million. 10 million. It offers $10 million, dude, for abiogenesis. That's mental, man. Who doesn't want that money? All of those scientists that say that it can happen, they don't want that money. But if you do have time, Richard, come join us. I need to take a small break to feed my dogs. And I don't want to leave Stephen alone, because I don't want Claude turning him.
Oh, yeah, that's a definite reality that we cannot have.
Can't leave him alone with evolutionists. He might evolve into something else. Might come back and find a cow or something.
That would just be the worst.
Richard, what do you want to evolve into next? Or are you content with being
a human without allergies?
Oh, I would like to sign up for that, please.
Yeah, I think this month has been. Oh, it's been bad, but a couple weeks left probably. We're about to get some rain up here, so hopefully that'll kind of knock it down a little bit.
All right, here we go. Stephen, you hacked it. Good job.
Snipping tool.
Yep. I love my snipping tool.
I use it every day, at least.
It evolved from paint.
So
no programmer changed it. It just evolved.
So if you see here, Achilles, the number one proof of a beneficial mutation is that we can drink milk into adulthood. Isn't that great?
So was there a time that we couldn't?
Hopefully not. I think we would have died off again, but that has never really seemed to affect the evolutionist.
No, my question is, why do we call it a mutation if we've never observed that it was different before?
Maybe there was a time when we were infants that we survived off hope. I don't know.
Because I think mature individuals drank milk even in, like, I don't know, the 1500s.
Hey, can I change my answer?
Yeah.
I want to evolve into a bald eagle, just so I can fly around
Ooh.
DC and poop on congressmen. There's nothing they could do about it.
Like this one.
Beating up on the very frail evolution that is Darwin.
Yeah, we could poop on him too. That would.
There's a good point though here for evolutionists. Why do we hit the old guy? Like, that's not fair. That's not right. I'll give them that. Here we go, guys. Like, this is official. Talk to the people about that website, rather, Richard.
Oh, so this is a website called Hero X. Basically, if you have an engineering mindset or can think outside the box and are a really good problem solver, you can go to this website, and there are major companies. NASA has a few of them, but there are problems that people cannot figure out that they put large cash prizes on there. Anywhere, some are like $10,000. Some, like in this case, are upwards of $10 million. I took this screenshot a couple years ago. I don't know if it's still up there, but this one says, artificial intelligence plus the origin of life prize $10 million US. Where did life and the genetic code come from? Can the answer build superior AI? The number one mystery in science now has a $10 million prize. This is them admitting they have no clue how life started. And the prize announcement at the Royal Society in London. Basically, you will be on the front page and probably have the Nobel Prize
Worldwide.
in 5 seconds
Yeah.
if you can figure this out.
Yep. You will be number one name worldwide, and you will be a millionaire, and not just one.
Yeah, you'll be there with Charles Darwin, up there in history books too, right next to him.
Hey, Rich, by any chance, is your cell phone near your microphone?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Because I hear static. There you go.
I didn't move it at all. Here, let me put it over here.
All right, guys, I'm gonna need 5
Okay.
minutes. Be right back.
All right. So the panel is open. Anyone can come and join. Rich, you tell me, why do you think no one has claimed the prize yet? That's a lot of money for something that's so solvable, right?
Yeah, well, according to the second law of thermodynamics, adding energy to anything causes it to fall apart. Everything tends towards disorder. It is not physically possible. Adding energy does not organize everything, And what doesn't make sense to me is why they haven't figured this out. According to the Big Bang Theory, when all the energy all of a sudden spontaneously appear, it would immediately start tending towards disorder. And this life on this planet wouldn't organize at all, Um, let me pull up some more slides. You want some more detailed on that? Detailed information. Wait, here we go. Okay. Let's see. Perfect timing. Hold on. Let me just click on this current slide, and then we'll go back over and share this screen here.
And just for laymen out there, the law of thermodynamics is one of the governing laws of the universe. It's unchangeable, and you cannot manipulate it for your theory.
Yes, I'm actually going to go through that part, as a matter of fact. So, talking about abiogenesis, where are the lab results that prove this? This is the scientific method, right? So first you start with an observation and a question. We'll start at the very top and work around clockwise. Then you do research for your topic area. And you come up with a hypothesis, which is a pretty good idea, and some assumptions on how you think it happened. Then you test with experimentation, You analyze the data from your tests and you report your conclusion and you start over. This method has been put into place, I don't know how long, but this is so every other scientist out there can come up with the same results, and then they can find your work conclusive. Abiogenesis, right there at 6 o'clock, test with experiment. It has nothing conclusive. They've tried testing it, but it has never come out with a positive result. So here's abiogenesis. This is their own theory from a Google search. Abiogenesis is the scientific theory explaining how life arose from non-living matter through natural processes on Earth. Let me pause right there for a second. There have been some articles that have come out that they have proven that they were able to make life in the laboratory. But what they cleverly disguise in their article is that they started with already existing organic material. They did not get it from non-life. Okay, it proposes that simple organic molecules gradually combined and evolved. There's that word again. They always say that abiogenesis is not part of evolution, but right there in their own definition, it says it. So it proposes that simple organic molecules gradually combined and evolved into more complex structures, eventually leading to the first self-replicating organisms. The theory suggests that these processes occurred under specific conditions on early Earth, including a reducing atmosphere and the presence of energy sources like ultraviolet radiation and lightning. Right, the simple organic molecules gradually combined and evolved into more complex structures. What organic molecules? How did they form? How did organic molecules form in order to form organic molecules? Right? I mean, that'd be the first question you have to ask. Well, let's see, we got some organic molecules here that made life. Yeah, but you're skipping step one. How did that first organic molecule come into place? Where are the lab results that prove this? Again, test it with experiment. Show me in the lab that it's possible. If you want to teach every person in the world that we came from pond scum, prove it. And then bring it into the high school and say, look, let's make artificial life. I mean, if that happens, you'll probably prove that intelligence is required to make life, Both theories sound good, but let's try to make a window with spray paint. Okay, that's that was a joke I had in this presentation. I might as well just go and say this is how clever the evolution and abiogenesis theory sounds, right? So, say you wanted to put a window in a wall, right? You could either do it the proper way, remove the siding, cut out the plywood, put in a frame, put in a header board and all that, screw the window in, and you're done. Or, like in theory, right? If you were to take some black spray paint, right, and spray that same wall, the wall would turn black, obviously. Same if you use blue spray paint or gold spray paint or whatever. So in theory, if I were to take a can of clear spray paint and paint that wall would now be clear and I should be able to see through it. There'd be no need to put a window in it. That's how dumb the evolution theory sounds, or the self-creating life theory. Very cleverly disguised. If you look at it from a certain point of view, it sounds like, okay, yeah, it makes sense, but it doesn't actually hold up. So here's the second law of thermodynamics. It states that all spontaneous processes in the universe tend towards increasing entropy, which is a measure of disorder or randomness. That means systems naturally move from a state of order to a state of greater disorder. Here's a state of greater disorder. Grandma's house. If you just take anything, you park it there, and you just leave it alone, you don't maintain it, that's what's going to happen to it over time. It will not get better. Here's a car left out there, abandoned, unmaintained. He doesn't look too happy about it, to be honest with you. If living things tend to disorder, it's called aging, right? Here's a picture of Einstein aging. That's what happens over time to everybody. How did the universe get into order in the first place? That's a pretty good question. If everything goes from a state of order to disorder, how did they get organized? How did things get organized into these unbelievably amazing and complex cells that you see in the human body. You just want to say that one of those cells just randomly happened with, some mixed compounds and, some ultraviolet light and lightning. Show it to me in the laboratory. I mean, that's very complex. Honestly, I think most people, not most people, everybody is of sinful nature. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. All. That means everybody. I think God knew that what the sinful man, the heart of a sinful man would do if he knew how to create natural biological life. And he did not give us the gift of the breath of life, which he breathed into the first man. I think we will never be able to find it. I mean, law of thermodynamics won't allow it. And I think by definition, a miracle is anything that defies the laws of physics. First law of thermodynamics is the universe coming into existence. Says it can't happen. A miracle is overcoming that. Life being created is overcoming the laws of physics. By definition, that conscious presence behind your eyeballs, it's a miracle, whether you believe it or not.
You shared something in the group chat just the other day, and it was about how it covers multiple states and there's fossils from all different genres that should not be coexisting. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No. Keep going.
Let me see if I can pull it up in our group chat, because it was an excellent point that you made.
It sure was me. I don't have a whole lot of things on fossils.
I believe it was you, but maybe it wasn't pertaining to fossils.
It could have been when we were talking, or when DC was in here, we were talking about it, and I was pulling some random stuff off of Google. Unless you're talking about polystrap fossils, are those the ones? That's
no, I love the polystrate fossils, but that wasn't it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it very quickly.
I got Dr. Hoven's number in my back pocket.
We don't want to scare them off. They're already kind of fluttering away. They can't handle it.
Well, you shouldn't ask me to come in then. Or Achilles left, and they're here to listen to him talk.
No, they left long before you got here, and Achilles made an exit. I mean, if I had to defend the theory of evolution, I wouldn't want to stick around either. But what does make me laugh is they'll say things in the comments section like we're idiots or morons. But then when we give them an open invite to bring 5 of their friends to come debate us on it live, they suddenly turn into chirping crickets. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, they're fulfilling their pride, and that's what they do. I mean, they can't back up their science, so to make them feel better about themselves, they just attack and hate and attack and hate. I mean, it's spiritual war. That's what they do, I like what Dr. Hoven says. Would you like to evolve from Iraq? According to the prebiotic soup theory, that's where that comes from.
No. Absolutely not. Hey, here's another one.
This just came up, man.
Hey.
2026 that they're still evolution deniers. Why don't you come on in here and talk to us about it?
Oh, he wouldn't want to do that, Rich. In order for him to do that, he would have to defend his false religion, and that would prevent him from being able to sleep tonight.
It's funny. I just went through how the laws of physics won't allow it to happen, and they're evolution deniers. I deny it because of physics. I don't
now physics
deny it because I want to believe in God. I believe it because of physics.
Now physics, Rich, isn't that just something that creationists use? Us dumb hoax.
Yeah, actually, it is. The scientific method. That's only one thing we use. No, trying to be a smart aleck here. No, it's every scientist on the planet. I don't remember who came up with the scientific method, but it's been around for centuries. I actually saw a really good post on social media today about Isaac Newton and how he was a creationist and believed in God. I mean, some of the brightest minds, on the planet were, creationists. A lot of them are atheists too. So I don't have a poll or a specific number, but yeah, I mean, there are plenty of them who believe in God. Many of them.
You know what's interesting to me is the laws of the universe, they'll say, are never changing, and they'll defend that point. But then when you use the laws that govern the universe against their silly theories, all of a sudden, again, chirping crickets, it's so weird to me.
I don't know if it's the way they were raised or it's the way they were taught growing up, and then to suddenly change their mind about something is just not sinking in or clicking. It's like, no, I don't believe that. I don't know if it's something on their heart. I, I don't know. I'm not going to pull a Dr. Hovind and say that they're all dumb. But I don't know. I mean, you can, in my opinion, you can take an atheist outside, and if he believes that the sky is red, and you tell him to look up on a clear day, and he does, he's going to start to wonder if he's going colorblind. Instead of actually seeing that it's blue. I don't know if they've been turned over to a reprobate mind. I don't know if they just refuse to believe it. I don't know if it's a pride issue that maybe they might have to humble themselves, because Christianity is a lifestyle of submission. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. You're submitting to the one who made the rules, basically.
I'm starting to believe that all evolutionists are hearing impaired. It's the only way I can explain how they can defend evolution without hearing how stupid it is.
I didn't hear you. I had my fingers in my ears. Can you say that again?
Oh, you must be an evolutionist now.
So I'm just back. Did you find the evidence?
Oh, we found it. It was under a rock.
It was under a rock.
Our cousin.
Jeez, the timing was perfect.
Our grandpa.
Grandpa Rock.
Oh, man. Oh. I needed that laugh. Thanks, Achilles.
Hey, Donnie, you can take pop shots from the comment section like a hero, so brave, or you can come in here and defend your silly religion. The choice is yours. We can mock you from the comment section or live. I will put the choice in your hands.
The link is out there, so if we attack your comments, don't say we're talking behind your back, because you're the one turning it.
You clowns believe in the Tower of Babel.
It's called Babel, not Bubble. But
Ziggurat, is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah. We do know there's a lot of you bubbling about evidence for evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't show it. You just bubble that somebody has it. The geologists say, well, the astronomers have it. The astronomers say, no, the geologists have it. The geologists are back again and say, okay, no, I was wrong. It's the biologists. They have it.
Oh, well, hey, guys. Donnie says that he's a mechanic, not a biologist.
That solves everything right there.
Well, let's ask him a mechanical question.
Yep.
If my truck is broke down, how long will it sit on the side of the road before it evolves into a working truck again? Or does it take a mechanic with intelligence to design a fix?
Want me to pull up my picture of thermodynamics again with the truck?
I had a garage with dirt bikes and a lot of tools. And at some point, a lot of energy was added to that garage in the form of a forest fire.
Ooh.
And I've waited.
Yeah, you got like a luxury suite after that fire, right?
Right. I waited for 5 years. I wouldn't touch the garage because I was expecting something to come out of it, like fully grown and evolved. But no. For me to actually have a dirt bike again, I had to go in there, clean all the mess, and buy another one. They didn't evolve into a better bike.
Mm.
So yeah, actually,
I just share.
a mechanic sees that there is a designer. If they don't, they're willfully ignorant. There is no other way around it.
Mm. I did have a great idea, guys. Proverbs Guys Ministries is going to come up with a scientific paper disproving evolution, and we're going to actually submit it for peer review. But here's how we're going to have this paper be successful. We want to make sure that the evolutionists understand it, so we're going to make it in the form of a pop-up book so that maybe they can grasp it.
And it will start with SpongeBob going like, imagine. That would be the first thing popping out when you turn the first page. Imagine. We all came from a rock. And they will say this is a straw
on
man.
the same thing at the same time.
Me and Achilles do that all the time.
Yeah, tell us, Donnie. I mean, if we just leave it there and put a lot of energy to it, like the sun, all day out in the sun, will it get better?
Yeah,
How many,
don't.
how
Go
many
ahead.
parts? How many parts do you need to take out from one car for it to stop working?
Mm. Not many.
Right? If you take like one wheel off, it ain't gonna work well. If you take one piece of the engine off, like the coolant system, like one hose, take one hose out. So that proves the logic that it can either work as designed fully as it is, and it cannot have evolved part by part. It requires a designer. And here's what's funny, brother Richard. If you show somebody a painting, they don't need to see the painter. They understand there is a painter. If you show them a building, they understand that somebody built it. If you show them a car, they understand there was a designer. They don't need to see the builder. They don't need to see the designer of the car or the mechanic or the factory behind it. But if you tell them, I must have had a creator, they're like, where is he? I don't see him. How dumb is that, dude?
Yeah. Last time I saw a painting in the woods, I just assumed a bunch of beetles were pooping on it in a very significant order, and it turned out pretty nice.
For millions of years, Richard. For millions of years.
Oh,
So
okay.
it
Yeah, I
doesn't
only
happen.
assumed it happened in a few days. I'm sorry. That's what I
Yeah,
was wrong.
no, it doesn't work that way, my friend. No, it needs to be like a process of natural shit selection for like a million years.
I have an evolution question for you guys.
2 million years. I think for a painting you need 2 million years. Go ahead, Steven.
Donnie is really fond of making these pop shots from the comment section, and I was just wondering if you guys could maybe tell me how long it'll take evolutionists to evolve a backbone so they can get in here and defend their false religion.
Ooh. And here's the argument. Welcome, DC. Here's what I just mentioned. Like, they need to see God to understand that the perfection of the human body and the way it works, all of it, you cannot remove a single part, that it had a designer. They need to see that designer. But if you show them a house, they don't need to see the builder. They understand there was a builder. If you show them a car, they understand it had a factory behind it. If you show them a watch, they understand there was a watchmaker someplace. They don't need to see the watchmaker to see that the watch works. But here's the argument. They're like, where's your cowardly girl hiding at? He's in your face. That's why you will have no excuse. Because he's everywhere. He's not hiding. And when you meet him, don't tell him where were you hiding. Because it's
But
gonna work harder.
if he is hiding, Is it possible he's hiding in the best hiding place in the world, which is the same place the evidence for evolution is hiding? Because they never found it.
So, brother DC, you're muted. You're not used of us when you're muted.
Yeah,
There
man,
we go.
you gotta
You too.
unmute if you want to slap around Darwin with us.
I didn't realize that it saves it from muting from before I used it. So, one of the things that it was brought up again tonight is, you know, the peer reviewed. Like, this is such a thing that unless it's peer reviewed, it's false. That's the implication that we just seen it by, I don't know, Don.
Yeah, but to that
it-
point, real quick, isn't the Bible peer reviewed too?
yeah.
Right? How
Well,
many?
I want to run by a few peer reviewed things, and let us just witness how factual peer review things are.
I
So
like where this is going.
one of the
Uh-oh.
things is that was peer reviewed and approved by peers scientific community as a scientific cosmological beliefs, which is one was the steady state universe. For decades, the mainstream scientific belief was that the universe is eternal and unchanging in its density. I'm not going to continue, just to highlight on that one. How about geocentric and heliocentric? Peer-reviewed beliefs are not just a modern concept. Early astronomical models were backed by the best evidence at the time. Long-held belief that the Earth was the center of the universe. Another one of the peer-reviewed things that ended up not being true. The list goes on. I mean, Lamarckian evolution, right? Prior to Darwinian natural selection, gene baptized Lamarck's theory, which was widely peer-reviewed in its era, was the leading explanation of how species adapt, falsely claiming that organisms could pass down physical traits acquired their lifetime to their offsprings. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, do we want to spend this much time? Ulcers and bacteria for decades. The medical consensus was stomach ulcers were caused strictly by stress, diet, excess stomach acid. You can go on, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but
I have
people
another.
like to bring up this whole, well, evolution is peer reviewed, and so it's factual. Peer review does not equal factual. That just means a whole bunch of people believed a lie. That's it. The same people believed the same lie.
And they agreed upon each other that they believe the same lie. Yeah. And which one of your presidents, guys, was, I think it was George Washington, that died because the medical consensus of the time was to bleed out the individual.
Bloodletting is what they call it.
Bloodletting, right? The medical consensus at the time all agreed that that's what you got to do. And wasn't it George Washington that died from that?
I believe it was Washington.
Yeah, it was.
And here's a funny comment from Donnie. Donnie, please stick around, man. Your arguments for evolution are doing better than we are of disproving it. He says, houses aren't found in nature. Watches aren't either. Wait for it. That's because it takes an intelligent designer. Mind blown.
And then he says, you can say that for nature itself. Well, we actually can. There are so many things in nature that disprove the theory that things evolved better and better. We brought one example here, which was the hooves, the protection that a calf has, so it doesn't break the, I don't know the word, but the belly, whatever. Another one is symbiotic relationships. And you know what? I have one for you, Donnie. There are some trees that they don't want to compete with other trees of their kind for resources. So if their seed, their fruit drops down, it doesn't become a tree. But if a bird eats that seed, it gets activated by the acids in the stomach of the bird. So when the bird poops somewhere away, then a new tree gets born there, gets planted there. So how did the tree know what exists in the acid in the stomach of the bird and evolved the seed to be activated by that? There are hundreds of millions of examples in nature that disprove that
There's an
things evolved on their own.
We don't know everything, guys, but except for how to spell science. Sorry. Go ahead.
Science. Science.
One of the things that we see so common in the scientific community is evolution, and we've seen it in the comment earlier, is evolution is a well-documented, proven fact. Millions of years is well-documented, proven fact. Like that is what they want to say to everyone as if it's scientific fact. And that's how the brainwashing of these things get propagated to everybody is, oh, it's proven fact, when they never can prove that it's scientific fact. Right here, they are stuck with testing the experiment. As of today, we have a $10 million award out there for anyone that can prove how to bring life from non-life. If that is a proven fact, why is it today this is offered? Because it's not a proven fact. This is what they do. They hide behind these cloaks and daggers of it's scientific fact that evolution is proven. It's scientific fact that millions of years is absolutely true. And, you know, oh, you want to bring up radiometric dating, huh? How much do you know about radiometric dating? Because I know a heck of a lot about that. That's why I do not believe in radiometric dating, is because I understand the isotopes. I understand the parent atoms creating daughter atoms, the decay rates, right? You guys all you guys all bring out this falsified fact of, we know the decay rate of today, which has only been observed for 70 to 80 years, is a known fact that it's always been that way. What scientists will always do, they will always ignore the electricity in the atmosphere that creates the ions that is producing more and more and more parent atoms. This is how we know that radiometric dating is bad, is because take any sample at any time, anywhere. You will have a certain number of parent atoms within an isotope that is in a sample. And then you can count how many daughter atoms, which is the decay of the parent atom. It's almost like producing a shadow of itself. That is the daughter atom. Then you count those, and there's a ratio between parent atoms and daughter atoms. Okay, and this is what is used to calculate how old something is. But there's three assumptions immediately right off the bat. One is the decay rate, that it's always been the same, it's never changed. Lightning will disprove that if you want to study lightning and creating parent atoms in our atmosphere, you know, right?
They don't like studying DC.
No, they don't. Because when you go to the depths of what their data is, it always disproves them. So they stop where it starts to disprove them. The other one is, again, you don't know how many parent atoms were in the sample at the time of its creation. You don't know. So that's another assumption. And then another assumption is we don't know about the daughter atoms. How many daughter atoms were actually inherited from outside that sample at the time of its creation, right? Because you're going to have parent atoms and daughter atoms that are going to be inherited that didn't come from that sample. Again, it's assumed that all parent atoms and all daughter atoms are included into at the time of its creation, right? Well, not all daughter atoms are coming from all the parent atoms that are within the sample. Therefore, how do you know? Again, it's another assumption. You know, this is where all of a sudden they start to get quiet. They will get quiet when you start to bring up, because they always say, you don't know about radiometric dating, how it works. You don't know how carbon metric dating works. Well, yes, we do. We just don't ignore the facts because we don't have to. We don't have to prove something that's not true, so we don't have to hide the facts. And this is the problem with today. We're seeing it right here by Donnie, just throwing things out there. You don't know what you're talking about. It's been peer reviewed. It's scientifically proven. Well, the data at the level that we go to disproves that at an alarming rate. No, it's not proven. It's just proving what you want it to be by ignoring facts. I just quickly, in 2 minutes, rambled off some things that disprove this whole theory.
DC, you can help us make our peer-reviewed research paper that we're going to submit disproving evolution. And I don't know if you heard, but we're going to put it in the form of a pop-up book so they can easily understand it.
Yeah, I'll I'm like I said, this is actually something that God uses, right? So about me, I only would have graduated high school if I wouldn't have graduated high school unless my sister did my English packets. I hate homework. I hate school. I hate studying, right? So this stuff coming out of me is actually really weird if you look at it from my perspective, because the only reason I know what I'm talking about is because God has taught me, right? So what has God always done throughout history? He always uses the foolish things to confound the wise. He always uses the weakest to destroy the strongest, right? So coming from me, I somehow, as some dumb kid with no PhD, can understand these deep concepts better than others, right? So my point is, I can prove it and show it because God has given me the information. That the architect, the designer of all of this, is the one that I have, that he's taught me. That's why I understand. I don't understand it because I went to some college and got a degree of indoctrination of this is what we want you to believe. Therefore, my education is not, brainwashing. We want you to believe this because this is the model that we want you to believe. And so I am allowed by the creator be like, hey, here's this, here's this, here's this. I want you to look at this. And he puts these things on our heart, and then we go and investigate. It's like, oh my goodness. The God that created the universe is the one teaching me, and now I understand, right? And so that's the thing is, I'll definitely help, because when we can say something, right, that we have assumptions built into radiometric dating that disproves its accuracy. For one, just like the $10 million award that's out there for anyone that can produce anything to prove out abiogenesis, right? Well, the same thing can be said when it comes to radiometric dating. We have numerous places all around the globe of there's one just, 40 miles away from me right now. Mount Kilauea is launching lava, freshly created lava rocks right into the atmosphere right now. So if you go down there right now, wait until the lava is cool enough to handle, grab that sample and radiometric date it. I guarantee you it will be a minimum of 250,000 years off in less than 24 hours.
They don't use carbon dating on volcanic rock.
Did I misspeak? I meant radiometric dating of the isotopes, not carbon. If I misspoke, that was my mistake.
Hey, just very quickly, Jay, you say, DC, I also believe you never went to college. So here's the thing. If you believe we're all stupid hicks, why don't any of you educated people come on the panel and prove us wrong if we're just a bunch of baboons beating our chests up here? It should be easy for you guys to dismantle this. We even invited you each to invite 5 of your smartest evolution-believing friends. You haven't showed up because you have no evidence. You have a religion.
Admit it. Admit it's a religion, and we'll agree to disagree on different belief systems. That's all. Just don't call it science.
So far tonight, DC has been called uneducated. I've been called a moron. Achilles has been called dumb. And for some reason, you guys have left poor Rich out of it. So, Rich, you're an idiot. Don't feel left
And
out.
you know what?
I
You know what?
love you, man.
Nothing has been said yet by these guys that call us dumb. They
What's
haven't
that?
provided one single factual evidence to prove us wrong. It's always just attack the person, attack the feelings, and defend their beliefs in a cloud of smoke.
And right now,
I
and
am
right
giving
now,
you scientific evidence to disprove it, but you call me dumb.
yeah, and right now, DC, because you had the humility to admit that the things that you're saying cannot be based upon your interest in studying, so it has to be the Holy Spirit that is guiding you. But that humility, they're using it to say, oh, see, yeah, he didn't finish the university, therefore, ha, ha, ha. They're using that.
Yeah,
Well,
DC, if you had just been brainwashed for a little bit longer, maybe you would understand.
maybe you get it. I have a bachelor's degrees, guys. I did finish, and what you taught me in American University that I went to in California, one of the in the 200 list of universities. It's not like in the top 10, but it's not below the 200 either. Is that I come from a rock. That's what you teach me. You taught me, but I didn't fall for it. I mean, I did until the same Holy Spirit that spoke to DC spoke to me as well and asked me, are you actually believing that crap? Are you that dumb? And I started seeing the evidence all over around me that they're lying. And if you support them, there are only two choices. You're either dumb, as we were, or you're lying too. So which one is it?
Right. And this
God
this
gave you
is
a place.
something this is
Use it.
something that atheists do not understand because they don't have the Holy Spirit, right? I was minding my own business and doing my own thing when God called me out and said, "Hey, come follow me. I got some stuff to teach you." 7 years ago, I didn't know a thing about anything I've been talking about on this channel. And since 2018, all of a sudden I'm getting an education, and every time I get vindicated by what the Holy Spirit has given me. John 14:26, I want to share. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I've said unto you. Again, it just goes back to this. I am taught what I know now by the being that created everything. He
and
is
DC
my teacher.
DC, just to put the cherry on your point there, there's a scripture that encourages Christians to not prepare what they're going to say in these situations, but that the Holy Spirit would give it to them in the moment. And a little fun fact is every single time Achilles and I do these episodes, we have no format planned. We come out here and God just gives it to us, and it infuriates these idiotic rock-loving buffoons out in the comment section.
And sometimes he even uses them to bring up something so we can talk about that because we have no plan.
And sometimes he puts points in others like Donnie to help support our claims. It's terrific.
Right. But see, Christians took a hit when science started coming out and doing the evolution and millions of years, radiometric dating, carbon dating. We took a hit because it was presented to the world as scientific facts. And so initially, we're kind of taken back as like, well, how do we deal with these scientific facts that are given to us? But now we've had enough time to actually go through the process of scientific factual processes to determine that they're not factual. We now can see where their error is, and where does it lead us? Does it lead us closer to the Bible or further from the Bible? But more and more scientific research that comes out, it is getting away from old science, stupid science of evolution in billions of years, and is approaching more and more to what the Bible says, right? One of the things is in the book of Job, we read that now the book of Job, for those who don't know, is considered one of the oldest books in the entire Bible. It was written before the 5 books of Moses was. Well, in Job, we read where God is asking Job, are you the one that did this, did that, did all these things in creation and all that? Well, in that, God is talking about the darkness, right? And have you been able to command the darkness? Have you been able to, basically manipulate the darkness and these things, right? That the darkness has power. Well, it's only been within the last few years that what are we hearing now? Dark matter. And what does dark matter have in the scientific community? Dark matter is having power, because gravitational forces should have pulled everything together.
Yes,
The,
100%.
and so, but it's not. And so that's where they discovered that dark matter has power and energy to it that is forcing the galaxies apart and the universe to be expanding.
Can I
That
comment?
has been in the Bible for thousands of years. But science has only discovered that there's a substance called dark matter, right? So science is actually proving the Bible right and proving that evolution is not right.
And they brought in dark matter only to explain all the things, like the 90% of the things that don't make sense with the way the universe works and our understanding of it. So it all started as an assumption that there must be this dark matter out there, and then the assumption became fact. And now we have the new version is the quantum theory and the whole quantum physics, which in short means nobody can understand it
Well,
but us.
quantum
right?
physics is basically the physics of the small. I don't know why they throw the word quantum in there, but that's basically all it is.
Yeah, but a small to a degree of quantum, and they used like the whole slit experiment, which is the whole thing that this theory is based upon, that things
Oh,
can be
quantum entanglement.
yeah, and they could be in superposition, so
Oh,
nothing that you know already makes any sense. So none of the theory that we've had so far is actually what we are claiming to be science. And you can they keep pushing the goalpost every time. As we said earlier, the reason they called it a big bang is because they used to say that it was an explosion, but then that changed because the explosion brought them to a lot of dead ends, and they said no, it's not an explosion now. Officially it is an expanse. It is like the big expanse.
very
And if you
rapidly, though, not as
very
fast as an
rapidly,
explosion, but
like
very, very
like
rapidly.
boom, rapidly, you know.
Now, keep in mind, guys, okay, if you get pulled over by the cops, just like Dr. Hovind says, make sure to tell the cop you weren't speeding. You were rapidly expanding from your house.
Hey, let's go back to quantum quantum entanglement real quick. I would really love to hear a evolutionary explanation for how that works. Dan, if you're still listening, we got to do a designer talk episode on this. But basically, quantum entanglement, what it is you take an electron, it has an exact copy, just mirror image, like if you take magnetic fields and flip one over or whatever, somewhere in the universe. Doesn't matter. It's the only reaction that we know that can travel faster than the speed of light. However you affect the one electron, that other one will immediately at the exact same time act, opposite of exactly what you do to it. Doesn't matter where it is in the universe. How did that evolve? What's the explanation of that? I mean, we don't even know what that purpose is for.
Well, let me respond with a couple things here. One is the response that they would give you. They would say this is outside the spectrum of evolution, and it is like a law of the universe. So it like pre-existed, right? And we discovered it. That's what they will say. Not that it makes any sense, but that's going to be their defense. But I also want to throw here for you guys to just think about it, that this whole quantum thing is they have this obsession with another world where things are the exact opposite. opening up the realm for parallel universes, and you don't need to be a good person here because you might be a good person on another universe. And this superposition of things, they are obsessed with this Satanism is, and they call it as above, so below, which is like a mirror image of what is here. There is another place that is the exact opposite. And it's funny that it now becomes science. Like it used to be Satanism, now it's slowly becoming science. The other thing you said is that it's the faster thing that we know is the speed of light. I will disagree, and I will tell you that the fastest thing we know of is the speed of thought, because the minute I think of something, I can already get myself there. But then I meet all these evolutionists, and I'm not sure. You might be right. The speed of light might be the fastest thing, because they're not that
Speed of
fast.
smell is right up there also.
You know, guys, I used to think that all of us here at Proverbs, guys, were just kind of simpletons with passion. But the more evolutionists I meet, and their great rebuttals are, or you guys are dumb, it makes me think we're freaking geniuses. And
Compared.
Donnie,
Compared, right?
comparatively, correct. Yeah,
Right.
and Donnie, the best thing you could do to help prove evolution is to stop defending it, because you are really bad at apologetics for your religion.
Hey,
I
Or-
think
can I ask you
Donnie,
guys a question?
I think Donnie is way behind on modern science. I'm seeing arguments from like a long time ago that have no bearing on his modern science right now. Like modern science right now, why are they adjusting going from Big Bang to expansion? Right? They're having scientific problems because the more they dive deeper into their own theory, it's funny because they're denying God at the same time, but yet describing an intelligent creator at the exact same time. And
That's not-
they're really
Don,
having a
let me
hard
know.
time with it.
Can I ask you guys this question? I want to see if any of you guys, even in the comments, know who made this quote. It says, "The impossibility of conceiving that this grand and wondrous universe without our conscious selves arose through chance seems to me the chief argument for the existence of God. But whether this is an argument of real value, I have never been able to decide." Who said that?
What is Albert Einstein for evolution is ridiculous?
No.
No?
Nope. Even worse. Charles Darwin.
Ooh, he said something that was correct? Gross.
I mean, sorry to interrupt like that, but you were just hitting that exact point that he was talking about, brother.
Well, it goes worse than that, though, because they can't even explain what caused the Big Bang or the rapid expansion. All they know is that the universe is sitting there smoking a cigarette and watching reruns of Forrest Gump, and then poof, rapid expansion. But no cause for the effect. They'll never be able to explain that. All they say is, we don't know.
I
That
thought
was
they
for
he
club.
was watching a 2001 Space Odyssey, not Forrest Gump.
It could have been that, but I don't know. You know? Still, the question is what caused it, and they never have the reason for the cause. They never will.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Well, you know, what was it? Donnie brought up invite a biologist on for a show how much you know about science. Here we go. It's another one of these cloak and dagger situations, smokes and mirrors, right? Because if that did happen and we had a biologist come on, they're going to say we can prove evolution because we've witnessed it in our own eyes. This is their argument. But again, it was mentioned earlier. They're taking something that is already living, then they will take something out of it and then put it back in and say, ha ha, we just proved evolution and we were able to create our own things. Or then something like a virus will come along, right? And you'll see adaptation to the virus and prove that is macroevolution. And they're not the same thing, but that's what they do. They want to come on and sound smart with their biological degrees. But what it is it's always smoke screen. They cannot, as of today, we have this scientific fact today. There is not one fossil record of any transitional species of any kind anywhere discovered. And the other thing too is every single fossil that we do find of any animal at its greatest is always in its completed form, never in its transitional form. So
but this see, if you draw a line from that to a new one, you can see the connection. There's
right.
a line, it's direct line there connecting them. So it must
Yeah,
have evolved.
just like I ate a baby T-Rex, a couple hours ago. I mean, the line is so obvious.
And we're the morons. That's the beautiful part. We're the morons.
Yeah, they have the audacity to call us stupid. Just go on finding some joke.
I would like to ask Donnie. He's always making all of these claims that we can prove you wrong. You guys are liars and stupid people, or making stuff up, right? Just like this last one. No, they will shoot down all of your talking points in real time. Well, why can't you if you're so right? Why can't you come on here and prove us wrong? You can't. You always say somebody else can do it. The proof is out there, but yet it's never presented. When we hear from these people, it's always, well, I witnessed evolution. Well, I'm sorry, but I would like to see that happen. Were you able to watch a dog create a new fish, a freshwater fish? Right? Where is it? You guys always talk about everything. There is no transitional animal of any kind anywhere. They'll go to like the whale, right? The whale has hip bones. To these scientists and biologists, they claim, well, the only reason a whale should have a hip bone is because it used to be a land mammal. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's more reasons than being on land to have whale bones. But this is their argument, right?
DC, you just inspired me. They're always talking about our God of the gaps, but their God of the gaps are the missing transitional fossils.
Right. They can only claim one God of the gaps for us, but they have millions of gods of the gaps.
Yeah, it's just bigger.
Isn't that a clothing store?
Right. So we have a mechanic that's not a biologist that says that we won't bring on a biologist. So therefore they're right, we're wrong.
Hey,
you know
guys.
what? Bring on a biologist, because can I read you something?
Yes.
After we say hello to the president.
We have to say hello to the president.
I got to get a recording of that.
This is exactly the problem that evolutionists don't want to deal with. Because it always comes back to, if you can't solve abiogenesis, you cannot claim evolution. I don't care what later argument you have about a whale having bones in their, hip bones, right? So to go from non-life to life, you have to have information created before anything can begin. We know that as a fact. Information is evolutionist's biggest problem, because you have to have information to create something. Now, the simplest organisms, single cell organisms, right? They're complex. They are as complex or more complex than the human body that we have now. So how do you go from non-complex doesn't actually exist in biology? I would like to have a biologist come on here. If you claim that a biologist can come on here and disprove us, I want to see a biologist show us how you can create the simplest cell organism that exists, right? And so I'm going to read you a few things. Despite being the simplest forms of life, all basic cells share an essential components. A plasma membrane, the outer barrier that separates the cell from its environment. Again, proteins and these things put together is what creates these membranes. How can you get these complex structures from nothing?
Yeah,
You
this
can't.
is. I've brought this up with other evolutionists, and they always try to dodge it
They do because they can't prove it.
because the cell is as complicated as a city, and it has the cellular membrane. If you study the cellular membrane and how many lipids it has, I think it is 70,000 in a single-celled organism. And that 70,000 is different on the outside than it is on the inside. So that 70,000, those 70,000 lipids all over the surface of the cellular membrane, they do not allow foreign things to enter the cell. If those foreign things cannot enter the cell, how did those things that affected it to change it get in to begin with? Like what DC brought up is I've heard a lot of biologists talk about it, a lot of synthetic biologists and chemists talk about it. It is not possible. The cell itself, if we go back all the way to what is called our first like predecessor, it is so complicated that you cannot call it primitive. We evolve our instruments, and the deeper we go, the more questions we have. What Richard brought up a minute ago, I love that quote that says, if you start drinking from the glass of science, you're an atheist, but God is waiting for you at the bottom of the glass.
Hey guys, President Dan is having some connection issues, so let's try to get him in while he's here with us. You there, Dan?
I think he won't speak until he hears the presidential theme.
You there, President Dan? You're unmuted now.
It's a policy issue. I think it's not technical. Yeah, Dan, we can't hear you. Come on, we thought we had you set up already. Why did you get technical difficulties now?
I don't know. He must be having some connection issues. Open up your Wi-Fi, Dan. We're having a great episode tonight. It's really good creationist. And Donnie, we're going to include you in with creationists tonight because you're making so many excellent points on our behalf.
Thanks. Man, do you know how many of those jokes exist on the internet? I mean, I'm so surprised. Where is it? Let me share this one until we get. Oh, where is it? Oh, here it is. Like you have to have like that evolving and then finding the other evolved part that has actually counterpart that has actually evolved, the reproductory organs, the opposite to yours. Oof, that's like chances are so high for that happening.
All I can say is thank God we evolved the opposite but also matching reproductive organs. Am I right?
Right. Actually, there is evidence for evolution. I'm sorry to ruin it for you guys. We're surrounded by apes that believe they came from a rock.
Oh,
So,
it looks like Dan is on camera, so we're one step closer. Can you unmute, Dan? I know you're wanting to get in on. Let me see. I unmuted you. Can you talk? Unable to talk. Man, we're having connection issues for Dan tonight. Man, that stinks.
Sign language. So what's
Log
the
out, log
evidence?
back in if you can. Try that.
So what's the evidence for evolution with sign language? Oh, he had to go.
Well, you know, that's something that evolutionists will not talk about because think about it logically. If you are creating a species, right, it has to already, before it can produce a replication, it has to decide that it's going to replicate in the manner that reproduction happens. So before a female or a male is born, it has to be both at the same time, right? Because it's evolving out of one structure. So then it has to split into two. Well, you can't split a cell or a human being, right, into two like you can a cell, right? So how do you go from a single structure without being able to reproduce and then be able to create the information, copy it, split it, and then have the perfect structures for both male and female to be able to reproduce that. The reproduction of all animals is that it's simply an avoided subject because the science you can't do that because, like you mentioned earlier, right? They have to evolve completely separately together. But that's actually after it was created. The problem is creating that division. The information, it's always, you know, the fascinating thing is everything, it doesn't matter where it comes from,
And
information
here,
has to exist before anything can happen.
and here's the thing, DC. If we were hermaphrodites, why did we change that? Why did we split it into male and female? Why did we
Hey,
remain
Right.
that way?
I think
Right?
Dan actually found his microphone.
Do we? Yes. No, I had my tech guy. No, actually, it's my little son that I lead astray. No, actually, that's a long time ago joke. But yeah, Philip figured it out. So, hello everybody. This is
You
awesome.
see, children are handy, especially when it comes to technology, Dan.
Yeah, and so, and two, I'm not stupid like you guys. I have a science degree in horticulture. So, there you go. I'm not the town idiot, Mr. Tech Guy Vice President.
So Dan has a science degree. Achilles has a science degree. I never graduated, but my degree was in political science. I just decided I didn't want to continue paying to be brainwashed. So all of these science degrees, it's so weird that we're morons.
You realize
I think I got mine. I'm getting mine. I have to wait and see if he'll deliver it, but I think I'd get my degree from God.
I'll mail you
Amen,
one.
brother.
We already made you a doctor, DC.
Oh, yeah, you did. That's right. So I guess I am now.
And by the way, DC, even if, let's say, you now decide to go and take a bachelor's degree so they can hear you, no, they won't hear you. They're willfully ignorant. It's not about the degree. They're just using it as an ad hominem attack. That's what they do.
Now, there's plenty of people with doctorates who interpret the evidence differently than the mainstream. Oh no,
Right.
am I gone again?
Nope.
No,
No, you're
here,
still.
Dan.
It's trying to be non-responsive, which I think the whole audience always wants me non-responsive because anyway, but you know, it has nothing to do with degrees, nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with they've got other things they want to do in life. There was a couple questions. No, intelligent ID does not prove Jesus Christ created the universe. What it the evidence points to intelligence, and through that, then through the novel predictions.
Now we lost you.
Shoot. You know, I want to make a comment on something while he's hopefully coming back on. Is I owned an excavation business and I hired several employees, and I always struggled most with the ones that were seeking a job that had a construction degree from a college. And the reason why I always struggled with that, and I think it's an excellent point now, is because when I would hire someone with a degree or have to deal with someone with a degree, I tend to fight more against their teachings than if I hire someone and teach them myself. For instance, one of the issues that I had is had an architect that was building a building, and we were working on the design for the system. But we had a sidewalk, and then the building was had a 3-foot planter between the edge of the sidewalk to the edge of the building. And he wanted to put a 2-inch water meter in there. Well, those 2-inch water meters require a 36-inch meter barrel. I had to try to explain to this, architect that a 36-inch meter barrel does not fit in a 36-inch space. This is a type of stuff that we deal with when you have people that have degrees and stuff. Is they're book smart and they're able to regurgitate what they're taught, but then their brain doesn't think. Pipe does, and he should know this, right? But pipe has an inside diameter. Well, the inside diameter is 36-inch, but now you have to compensate for the size of the walls on both sides, generally about 1.5 inches. So a 36-inch pipe generally is about 39 inches. See how basic this is? Like, you would think that a basic concept of basic construction ideas would be taught in school, but they don't. And so it becomes a problem when you have to deal with real world application of things that we're dealing with, right? As a contractor, I have to interpret what an engineer and an architect creates, and I actually have to make it a reality. And I find that so fitting for the same thing. We have scientists telling us that evolution is possible, but when we apply that thing to real world stuff, the exact same problem is happening. It doesn't work. Your 36-inch water can doesn't fit in a 36-inch hole. And this is the problem we face with science is they come out with these ideas of millions of years in evolution, but yet when it comes down to the detail of it, it just doesn't work, even if it looks like it should, right?
Well, you're the smartest. You're the smartest moron I've ever met.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Dr. DC, you never cease to amaze.
Thank you.
Dr. Pazzi, you back?
I hope so.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, it's still not responding. I don't know why it's not responding. I went through Facebook this time. So anyway, it's probably because there were so many cool comments. I was probably going to get too combative.
Yeah,
Guys at all.
I've chosen to now ignore the comments. I was focused on them for like an hour. Now I'm not gonna be held back by them anymore because they brought no evidence. We've invited them in. They're not coming in, and they're only in the chat calling us stupid without providing any evidence for their religion. So now I'm just looking at comics like this one. That's actually true, right? This is very smart from evolution. We're gonna get squashed by our own making. We're doing great.
Did we? Oh, I just noticed. Did we lose Dan again? It looks
Yes.
like we.
Yeah, but don't worry. His computer will probably end up evolving better signal.
Well, if we take evolutionary science, and apply it in real world, right? What Dan needs to do is just go into the operating system and just start throwing ones and zeros in there randomly, and it will fix the problem, and it'll actually make his computer better, right? Just randomly throwing ones and zeros in there.
I got
it will evolve into a better computer.
I got a question for DC.
Yeah.
My brother, you understand we have a lot of cells on our body, like 50,000 cells, and all of them have our DNA within them. If we could unravel the DNA and stretch it out, you know how long it would be?
I'm trying to remember. It's long. Like, it might wrap around the earth a few times.
You can go to the moon and back 5 550,000 times with the DNA of one individual.
So I just searched real quick to put it in to add to this. The astronomical length of DNA is there's 37 billion kilometers of DNA tucked away within you.
So yeah, if you divide that by the lunar distance, it should give us 550,000 times to the moon and back. And they say that evolved on its own.
Yep.
Hearing you guys talk makes me think that maybe I misunderstand the word moron. Like, I understood it to mean somebody ignorant, but you guys all sound really intelligent. So maybe moron's a compliment.
I think you do have a misinterpretation of the word moron, because moron just means we're more on the truth than others.
Oh, mic drop from Dr. DC.
I learned something today. You know, you always learn something new every day. Now, please don't laugh at me. You probably knew this already. I didn't. Okay? Do you know who gets a Darwin Award?
It ain't Darwin, because he didn't believe in it.
So let me verify that, because I heard that today. Darwin Awards are for stupidity. So if you do something that is like dumb, you get the Darwin Award. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I've heard that, definitely. It's true.
So, okay, I'm reading. To be considered for a Darwin Award, a nominee must meet several strict rules established by the project's founders. The individual must be dead or rendered permanently sterile. The candidate's lapse in judgment must be astoundingly unique, bizarre, and sensational. The individual must be the primary cause of their own demise. The candidate must be past the age of legal consent and free of mental defects. The event must be, I don't understand exactly what it is, but it's funny that they would name it Darwin Award.
Achilles, if you have to be completely absent of mental defect, how do any of the evolutionists ever win the award?
So I think you must have like a stupid death or something. Like, I don't understand what qualifies. So it says here, disqualifying factors. Not every ridiculous death qualifies for an award. A candidate is immediately disqualified if their actions endanger or result in the death of innocent bystanders. So anyway, if you die out of a very stupid reason, you get the Darwin Award. I think that's pretty telling.
I think the word you're looking for is fitting. It's pretty fitting.
Yep. Yeah. So now I understand why, as I read this, because according to like evolution, you did survival of the fittest. You were not the fittest. Yeah.
Rich or Dr. Moron, welcome back.
You're welcome. I hold that title proudly.
Welcome to Moronland. Moronville. Moronville, where
hey, I live in the southern part of the United States. That fits pretty well. I think redneck is the political correct term.
Now, whenever we put out this evidence and they call us morons, it just makes me think of the Princess Bride. You know, I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Well, all I got to say is never mess with a Sicilian when evolution is on the line.
I mean, honestly, guys, I said it earlier, and I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm starting to believe that every evolutionist is deaf. It's the only way they can't hear how stupid these theories are.
But again, it just goes back to the subject is they're taught an idea in school as facts. But the difference between school and living in reality is school doesn't match reality. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. When I had a hard time hiring people with an education, I was always fighting things that I had to, deal with the brainwashing. Book smart doesn't work in reality. And that's when you apply evolution. Evolution is a book smart thing. They'll teach it in school and brainwash you to tell you it is fact. But when you go to apply it, it simply doesn't work. And I'm going to hound this over and over a million times from here on out. So just get used to hearing this from me. Information is the biggest problem for scientists. This is their biggest hurdle that they cannot overcome. We want to go back to the DNA code, right? Because everything that's on the screen right here, the tree of life and everything that all life has DNA in it. What is DNA? DNA is just like it's a code. It acts as a biological operating manual. That's literally what it does. It tells all of these structures, the complex structures that are built within a cell, to do what, right? It's do this, do that, replicate this, or if there's a damage, if I get a cut on my arm right here, the DNA tells the mechanisms within itself to, you need to repair at this location. And so this is what tools you're going to need to repair that specific thing. And so to do that, they have to take the information and then apply it to the body. The information is the biggest hurdle because without the information, nothing can live. So the question comes back to, where does the information come from if it's not from a designer? That's the problem, right?
And,
You can't.
and may I throw something else here? There's something here in this picture that we are seeing that is actually uniting all this. And that is the lack of evidence on every single branch that you see here. Even if you go all the way down where it says origin of life, there is no evidence for it. There is no evidence for that. There is no evidence that that became something else. And you go all the way up, there is no evidence. So yeah, if we put the title here, the lack of evidence, this is actually a very accurate tree.
I can't believe you guys don't understand this. It's so simple. You can't see the lines on the paper connecting these things that are totally unrelated.
You know what? I didn't see it until now. You're right. Those lines is actually connecting God. So the lines and branches are God.
Right. there are lines connecting them. I mean, why is it so complicated?
That's the common ancestor to all of this is the creator. All of that just draws a line right back to the creator.
Amen. Well, the creator did them
theology from.
He did them in parallel. He didn't need to make them like one after the other one, like a series. I don't believe in theistic evolution. I think it's heretic. It's false. It makes a completely different God than the one I worship. Let me see. Can I zoom in? Okay, it's working. So here, I'm just zooming in on the lines so you guys can see that everything is connected because we've drawn lines between
it
them.
it makes sense to me now.
Like, I mean, why couldn't you see it before? I don't understand.
I think this explains how they're getting their rainbow theology. Look at all the pretty colors on there.
Oh,
I mean,
Ooh.
God,
And
this
they will say we're not claiming that we are related to like strawberries or bananas, but they're here.
and look, this is a perfect example as to why I don't believe in evolution. I don't have enough faith. It takes more miracles to pull this off than anything in the Bible. Like Moses parting the Red Sea is a small walk in the park compared to this chart.
This takes hundreds of millions of miracles, and the Bible just has like, I don't know, 10. So it just, as I said earlier to I don't remember who it was, Donnie or whoever it was, if you admit it's a religion, we won't mind it. Just admit it's not science, because if it was science, instead of calling us morons, you would be able to show us the evidence. But because you have no evidence, it falls under the spectrum of religious belief. So when you admit that, then we can discuss whether we want it in the textbooks or not.
Want me to pull up that religious definition of
Yeah,
religion?
it would be the right time, I think, to bring that up again so they understand the definition of faith.
I do think that's something they struggle with. Rich, could you maybe put that slide in a pop-up book that we could present to the evolutionists?
Probably. While I'm looking for it, let's throw this one up there. Just for the fun of it.
Oh,
Right?
they don't want to go there. That's a bad one for them.
And look who said that.
Bad
Because
guy.
we've brought that argument before, and what I heard from an evolutionist when I brought that up was, why are you saying that God did this on purpose so we're all unique? I said, yeah, like duh. But that was Newton. All right. So if you have an issue with that fact, you have an issue with what Newton said. Why are you anti-science? Because even that little thing, your finger, proves that you have a creator.
President Dan says you're wrong, Achilles. It would take trillions of changes.
Right. Yes. I'm sorry. And then you can make them. You can add a
Over
billion.
trillions of years, trillions of changes.
Yeah.
You know,
So religion is the belief in and worship of a superhuman power of powers, especially a god or gods. In our case, it's a god. In your case, it's called natural selection. The minute you throw in the word natural selection, it fixes everything. Another one is time. Give it a little bit of time and it will happen. How can the cow turn into a whale? Through time. Time. Oh.
I think science should come out with an experiment since they claim that time is evolution's best friend, right? Why don't we take something like an alligator and shoot it out into space at light speed, and then when it comes back, we'll be able to see the evolutionary change recorded in short amount of time because of the time dilation, right?
I can answer this one. I'm actually from Florida, born and raised, and it's a well-known fact that alligators hate space.
Oh,
Yeah, they don't like it.
How about crocodiles? Are they better or are they the same?
I can't speak for them, so I'm willing to shoot one off.
I bet an Aussie crocodile will go anywhere. Anything in Australia, they don't care about anything dangerous.
As long as they're not in my space, I'm fine wherever they go.
Mr. Dustin,
had MySpace in years.
Mr. Dustin Buck, welcome to the panel. Did you want to help kick around evolution a little bit?
Well, I have an interesting question.
Sure.
How can you have a law of monophily and then a law of divergence?
You mean
Okay,
coexisting?
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear it. You're a little low.
So you have evolution both encompasses the idea of monophily, which is the idea you cannot break your clade, and evolutionary divergence, the idea that clades break themselves over long periods of time.
Mm-hmm. A little bit contradicting right there, huh?
Well, here's the thing. They say all life comes from one singular source, one singular clade. How do we have multiple clades if you can't break your clade?
Yeah, I wish they were around to answer that, but they're too smart to come in here. They'd rather stay in the chat.
How, Sway? Make it make sense. How do you have one become many with a law that says you can't do that? How, Sway? Make it make sense.
That's definitely a theme because the entire universe came from one single point, right? It's singularity, and evolution is the same thing. It's all life came from one single cell that decided to make everything.
We have a mammalian and an avian clade. They're two separate clades. They cannot interbreed. There's no link between the two of them except for millions of years ago, supposedly. But the law itself says monophily. You cannot evolve outside of your clade.
He's just having fun. Huh?
Dustin, would it help if we showed you a graph with lines on it?
Well, I would have to understand what it meant when the line splits. Can you explain to me, like, if it's not breaking a clade, what happens when a branch takes place?
All you need is lines. Why do you need that?
Yeah.
All you need is
Paper and ink.
lines.
All you need is some ink.
Well, that was a real
Doesn't make any
intelligent
sense.
point, Dustin. Real intelligent
Doesn't
point,
make-
Dustin. You must be a moron like us.
How, Sway? Make it make sense. I am ready for this explanation. It all
Here,
comes
Dustin.
from one clade.
Here, I'll show it again. I've been trying to convince people, but here. Don't you see the lines? They're right here, man.
Where did the marker come from?
Oh, good question. Hey, where are markers on this tree?
They came from the Big Bang. They were created by a star exploding.
And look, they will make fun of us saying that T-Rex evolved into a chicken. But look at it right here. Follow the red line on the right side and look at the T-Rex and look at what it evolved into. Look at it.
I don't think the Big Bang created markers.
It's
The
not.
theory is so
It's not.
stupid. I think
I'm
the
sorry.
universe must have been sniffing markers to cause the cosmic sneeze that was the Big
I
Bang.
was gonna say,
Hey,
It
Steven,
evolved
here's
from
a-
the periodic table.
What's that,
Hey,
DC?
Steven.
I said the marker evolved from the periodic table. You know, when rain and everything comes down and the certain elements came together, that were the elements that
get
needed
into-
to create the marker, then it created the marker.
Oh, the
And they get
radioactive
into
space
separate-
dust.
Yes.
And they get into
Hey,
separate
Steven.
containers as well.
What's up, Dustin?
Hey, I've always wanted to ask an atheist this question. How does racism develop in a world absent God?
I'm not an
I
atheist, so I can't answer.
I can pretend I'm stupid though, if that helps.
I'm
But
just
don't
saying,
do that.
if God is eliminated as an option, let's say, for example, just hypothetically, we grant them their premise that God doesn't exist. Well, who do they have to blame for racism then? Evolution?
Why are they blaming God?
Yes.
Because our God says all blood, we all share one blood.
That's correct. But that's got nothing to do with anything. According to them, there is no God.
I know, it's facts. I mean, who cares for those, right?
Correct. But if we grant them their premise, who do they have to blame for racism? Evolution. That's it.
Evolution,
that's right.
evolution is indeed a very racist theory.
It is.
And the original book of Darwin, which we know as natural, what was it?
The preservation of the preferred races.
Yeah, that's the subtitle. That not many. The origin of species. Yes, the origin of species is the original title. But then it also writes, right at the underneath that, or the preservation of favorite races in the survival of life, and it has been used by communism. It has been used by Nazis. And they're saying that, oh no, Adolf was a Christian. Yeah, not only wasn't he a Christian, but I happened to stumble upon one of his quotes the other day, so I saved it. And surprisingly, a couple of days later, I need it. So I regard Christianity as the most fatal, seductive lie that ever existed. Adolf Hitler, as quoted in Larry Azar, 20th Century in Crisis, 1990, page 180. So he was not a Christian. He believed in evolution. It was the new thing at the time, after the whole line from um, uh, Leo was who came up with geologic column, and then we had Darwin. There were other intermediate steps, but it was the theory of the time that the human race, for it to evolve, it had to get rid of the inferiors, and that's what he did. So racism is 100% a part of evolution.
Evolution.
Well, not only
Well,
not only did Adolf
Go
Hitler
ahead.
like evolution, he was obsessed with the theory of evolution.
And eugenics.
That's why he married
Social
his cousin.
Darwinism.
That's why he married his cousin. Yeah, because he wanted to bring a superior.
That means Hitler was a redneck, right? If he's marrying his cousin.
Inbred.
No, not Hitler.
Could
Darwin.
also be a Sunni or a
Yes,
Shiite.
you're right. I'm sorry. I thought you
Yeah.
heard you said Darwin.
No,
Okay, my brain
Darwin.
got-
Darwin married his cousin because he believed that they could create a superior race
Yeah,
in
yeah,
his family line. But what's not funny, but very sad actually, is that most of his offspring died of informalities.
yeah.
How deep down the evolutionary chain do you want to go?
Oh man, this is just the scratching the surface. Have you ever heard of what the Soviets did to try and prove evolution?
No, what'd they do?
Oh man, they engaged in all kinds of surgical experiments. You think Mengele is bad? You should research what Stalin did.
Yeah, no, I haven't looked
You
into
know the
that,
story? Can you
but it
explain?
sounds like a lot of tragic stories.
Well, see, what Stalin was obsessed with was the idea that the relation between monkey and man, right? And he was obsessed with the idea of interbreeding them to create a superior race of men, right? So, I mean, he engaged in all kinds of breeding experiments. He engaged in all kinds of organ swaps. He actually engaged surgeons to attach two dogs' heads together. And the dog lived longer than the surgical person who received a monkey heart or a gorilla heart. I forget which one it was.
That's messed up.
I mean, that's what they did,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Like they surgically attached a dog's head to another dog. I mean,
Well,
that was impressive.
That's why my opening monologue at the beginning of this episode is that here at Proverbs Guys Ministries, we firmly believe that evolution is the most dangerous and stupidest religion to ever exist. And it is. More hate has been caused on Earth because of Darwinian evolution than any other evil worldview there's ever been. Evolution is not just dumb, it's wicked.
Did
This
you
is
know
unrelated.
that the first?
Unrelated.
Did you know that the first pig transplant of a pig organ into a human took place something like 3 years, either 3 or 5 years before DNA types were discovered?
It makes sense. And actually, Achilles, that reminds me of the point they always bring up about how close our DNA is with chimpanzees. And then they leave out, like, what is it, 70% of the DNA code in order to make it work?
Right. It is a 95% of the 50% of the DNA that we haven't removed. But they're not saying that. Plus, that 5% keeps growing. It started being 2%, and that 2% is like some 100,000 nucleotides, where when you change two, the organism dies. But that 2%, which was already a big problem, became 5%, and now it's 7%, which makes us 93% different on the 50% DNA that we did not discard to make this work. And that raises another big question. Then why transplants work with pigs better than with apes?
Then exactly, apes, orangutans, monkeys, gorillas, all different forms and flavors.
Right. Why not? Why is our blood so similar to the pigs and not the chimps?
It's not that the pigs don't have to go. Like you will eventually like. There's like a certain regimen of immunosuppressants you have to take for the rest of your life, but you can survive with a pig organ. It's not possible with an orangutan, monkey, you name it. Like
Yep.
we're just too dissimilar in phenotype and genotype.
Yeah, and they will say, well, even the pig is like we share a common ancestor. Okay, but the closest one, you're claiming that it's the ape. Why do we have to
That's
jump
the
so many?
thing.
Right? Why do we have to
That's
jump so many hoops to go to the pig?
the most successful chance for any transplant is your closest relative. Your closest relative. We're not closely related to a pig, or we're not supposed to be.
Yeah, some are, Dustin. Yeah, especially lately, if you look around, like we are in an obesity epidemic, so maybe that's why.
Hey,
Now-
you called me fat.
Who called you fat?
Achilles did. We're in an obesity crisis or something.
I didn't mean you because you have an avatar on. And I didn't mean DC either. I meant look around outside the internet. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not fat. My belt line is just rapidly expanding.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, we are at a crossroads because I have got to run, and I know Brother Achilles has a very early day tomorrow. So we'll let you guys decide. Do we wrap this up, or Rich, do you want to keep it going?
Well,
And you
I
can
wanna-
lock up when you're done.
I've got one more graph that I want to show, and if you want to stick around for it, I mean, like maybe 5 more minutes. Can you do that?
Does it have lines for evidence?
Yes, it has.
I'm not believing it if there's no lines.
There's a lot of lines on it. There you go. So this is the growth of the world population from 2018. Right now we're at just about 8 billion people. So this is starting at a minimum of 25. If you go back in time and follow the world population, right, it will show 2000 BC, so about 4,000 years ago. You can see that we basically started from minimum of 25 people. You go back another 300 years or something, you get
8.
relatively 8 people on a boat.
You're right. And if the world is billions of years
6.
old and mankind is like 30 million, these numbers should have exploded. We would be
Oh yeah, we'll be in the trillions by now.
right. There would be no free space on the earth at all.
Guys, it took a really long time to evolve sexual organs. What don't you understand?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, but what I don't understand with that is that if we were hermaphrodites, why did we change into male female? Like, why did we have to take that step? Why? So we can have a woman telling us what to do?
Well, and here's the other thing. How did it spread amongst all the other geno and phenotypes across the entire planet?
Oh,
It's almost
they
like
look-
it's
they
a
saw us-
virus.
Yeah, they saw us doing it, and they were like, that's a good idea.
This comment
Well,
from
I mean-
Charles is worth reading. He says, evolution says that you're too ridiculous to believe that a naked woman talked to a serpent. You should believe that the serpent turned into a man first.
You're forgetting. We are trying to speak to a population that doesn't even know how to define what a woman is. So
Oh yeah,
Oh, shots fired.
yeah. Don't forget that.
probably get attacked if we went down that road.
Well, so gentlemen, do you guys want to keep this going, or should we shut it on down?
I mean, I'm
I
just
think we
getting
can go.
started.
I mean, if you have free time, Rich, I know DC and Dustin can keep you going for hours.
How is it that an arm, right, or even a flipper from like a Pachycetus can like if you're going from Pachycetus to whale, right, and you're a land dwelling animal, your leg is going to be far more useless as a flipper long before it ever develops, and vice versa the other way around. Like, how many generations
Hey,
do you
Dustin.
think?
Dustin, before we go, this question got somebody asked Ken Hovind that question like a couple of weeks ago, and although I have to admit I'm not watching so much lately of Ken Hovind, I so happened to stumble upon that. So I'm right now on my computer, and I wanna get you the right answer because it's a very good question, and it has an answer. Believe it or not, it does have an answer. So I go to the output, okay, sequence one. Oh, wait, did I delete it? Okay, no, sequence one. Yes, it should be this one. Just give me a second and I'll be right here. Yep, I'm getting closer. Here I am. Okay, getting there.
Why do I picture Achilles like digging into his computer files with like a little miner's hat and a pick?
I've actually seen that. I have pictures of it, believe it or not.
I got it. Let me share my screen and I'm gonna mute myself so you don't get echo, guys.
Eventually become. Last one, Doc. We'll get out of here. How many years would cows have to swim around in the water for their children to eventually become whales? It's so ridiculous to think about.
How many years would cows have to swim around so they could eventually become whales? Their children. Now, they don't. See, it happens slowly, a little bit at a time. The hoof slowly changes into a flipper. That's the whole secret. Slowly. See? Time. This is the pacifier that keeps the evolutionist happy. How could that happen? Given enough time. That doesn't work. Try more time. That'll work, yeah. I like pulling that passy out and watching him scream.
I bought him that shirt, by the way. It was a Christmas present.
You're not going to be able to swim with a hoof, and you're not going to be able to walk with a flipper.
But give it enough time, Dustin. Give it enough time. It's not. It's not that cow. It's children, the children of the children of the children of the children of its children. So the more you think about that, the more you can imagine that it happened. How did it swim?
Jump over the moon too.
Like take a cow and throw it in the sea and tell me how, if it can swim enough to have offspring.
Okay, so like I would imagine that this could happen maybe once. Okay, you give me one example, I might buy it. But they're saying that this happened. They're saying that this happened.
One example.
No, but not even just an example. Look, an example has no explanatory power of any kind. All their science is nothing but best guess and description. Math can only give you a description of what something is. It cannot explain. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Look, one of the most important things for the scientific theory or the scientific method is an experiment. Show me the evolutionary experiment. Where is it?
Dustin, no need to shout, brother.
He's having fun, man.
Yeah, but your microphone is like getting blown up by the whole.
But they
I
have
get
no
it.
experiment. They have none. They have none.
There's
It's not a
nothing.
scientific theory.
Oh, yeah,
There
it
is.
takes millions of years, so you can't go back and actually see it happening. So
Yeah, there is no evidence. There is no evidence on any single field. There is no evidence in biology. There is no evidence in geology. There is no evidence in astronomy. There is no evidence for abiogenesis. Nothing. There is nothing nowhere. And yet they're saying that somehow the whole thing has evidence. It hasn't on any single field. So, viewers, as I sign out and leave my brothers here to continue, keep that in mind. It is a religion, it is a worldview, a religious worldview that says there is no God. So you get a choice. You believe there is a God or you believe there is no God. If you believe there is no God, they have a fake theory for you to cling on to. But it's based on lies because Satan is the father of lies.
amen, brother. He's
We
good.
enjoy, we enjoy the truth. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and he never lied to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm signing out. I have a thing to do in 4 hours. So,
I
Much
gotta
love,
get going
Achilles.
too.
see you soon.
Good night,
God
brother.
bless you all. Have a good
Catch you
night.
later. All right.
Hey,
I gotta get going myself too.
If evolution not true, if evolution true, how come no Wolverine claws? Huh? If evolution true, how come no wind powers?
I'll just wait a few more 100,000 years, and you'll probably get some. You know, the bones need to evolve into metal.
I'm just
But
saying, bro. Like, what are we talking about here? When we're talking about evolution, okay? Like the whole theory was based on like progenitors going extinct so that the new generation can take over, right? That is the idea. That is like the whole idea. And here's the other thing: is like the idea that the hominids wiped out the Neanderthal. That's evolutionary. And how? Like, here's the other thing too. Like, if you have a group of racists, right, and they wipe out all the non-racists, isn't that evolution? Because all that's left are the racists.
yeah, the whole theory cracks me up, man. You know, and it's sad that we've come down to that point. You know, it got me thinking the other day, like, who is the most intelligent being on this planet right now? It's going to be Satan. He is so clever, so deceitful to come up with a plan like this for generation after generation. People are going to believe it because you indoctrinate it with them. You know, his whole goal is to get back at God and push God's people away. And I think that theory, more than anything, has really done that. It allowed us to get away with whatever we want, live with however we want. You know, whatever feels good does it, right? You know, well, the Bible says that the heart is naturally deceitful and wicked. You know, and if evolution's true and survival of the fittest is how we're here, why are things like murder and rape and stuff like that perfectly illegal? I mean, if it's all about how you feel and it's all about survival of the fittest, why can't I go around and morally just shoot people like crazy? You know, I mean, that doesn't make
Well,
any sense at all. You know,
there
why is
are
it
there are
who decides what is right and what is wrong if evolution is true?
uh
Who sets those
see
standards?
there are places where that is actually the norm, right? We see what happens in those places, right? You're asking about a Satanistic ideal, okay? And the way that Satanism works is you go with the majority, right? And you only go with the majority to placate them in order to live to fight another day. you don't actually agree with these people. These people don't agree with each other. If you got them in a room, right, and you actually ask them real questions about real life, they'd be at each other's throats. But Satan will not cast out his own, for a house divided cannot stand. So what does he do? He placates them with the idea that if they play along with everyone, there's a reward at the end of the rainbow. Right? That's how this whole thing is played.
It definitely twisted that whole rainbow thing around. Rainbow is supposed to be the sign that God promised He will not flood the world again.
Somewhere over the rainbow, skies
You're
of
having fun
blue.
tonight, aren't you, Dustin?
What's that?
You're having fun tonight in this rant, aren't you?
Oh man, dude, I'm twisted up because I've been facing demons, bro. I've been fighting demons. I've been exposing their secrets. I've been telling people about their magic spells. Dude, like, you want to piss off a demon, you just let them know what the plan is. And you know what the plan always is? You know what it really boils down to? Chaos. Because they know that any plan is doomed in the face of their enemy. And who is their enemy? God.
Dude,
So what do?
I wouldn't walk into that fight alone. I'd bring Christ with you. I wouldn't even mess around with that, man. They'll get inside you and they'll twist things around. You know,
Christ is with me always, and I have all the experience in the world with demons. Trust me. That's one thing. If Steven was here, he'd back me up on that. Just trust me. I know how to do this. This is a game I have been playing for a long time.
well, just be careful, man. You know, my dogs are staring at me. I got to feed them. I think we're actually going to shut it down, brother. You should come by and hang out with us more often, man.
You have a good night.
Hey, God bless you, man.
Good night. Bye.
It was fun, guys. Let's put this on here real quick.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already come. Disgrace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Was blind.